Top 5 new games to check out in December 2022. Before we get into the best 5 games coming in December 2022, comment down below and let me know what game you are playing right now. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Retribution. Chapter 2, Retribution is an upcoming virtual reality first-person shooter survival horror game for PlayStation VR, PlayStation VR2 and Meta Quest 2. Developed by Skydance Interactive in partnership with Skybound Entertainment, it is a sequel to The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and based on the comic book series The Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman. The game is set to be released on December 1, 2022. Like the first game, the player can kill walkers by braining them, stabbing them through the skull, puncturing the brain. The player is able to scale buildings to ambush enemies and attack from a distance with throwing weapons, bows, and long-range firearms. Physics-based combat control how melee weapons are controlled. Players can explore during night time, though walkers will be attracted to the player's flashlight. Additionally, the game introduces new weapons and items such as a chainsaw and a sawed-off shotgun for players to defeat enemies. Laser sights can be attached to any firearm to increase shooting accuracy. High on Life. High on Life is a comedic biopunk first-person shooter game by Squanch Games from the mind Justin Roiland. It takes place in a science fiction world and features talking guns as the most sane thing. The game includes voice acting from Justin Roiland, J.B. Smoove, Tim Robinson, Tom Kenny, Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack. It is scheduled to be released on December 12, 2022, for Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. It will be available on the Xbox Game Pass subscription service starting on the release day. High on Life is a first-person shooter video game. The player has access to 4 distinct guns and a knife, and they can purchase additional movement abilities, such as a dash and a forward slide in the in-game store. The guns in the game are sentient. Roiland voiced the pistol Kenny, J.B. Smoove voiced the shotgun Gus, Betsy Sodero plays Sweezy, Tim Robinson plays Creature. The game has also been confirmed to be exclusively single-player. Hello Neighbor 2. Hello Neighbor is a survival horror stealth game developed by Russian studio Dynamic Pixels and published by Tiny Build. Hello Neighbor 2 has a December 6 scheduled release date and will be available on Xbox Game Pass. Hello Neighbor 2 is a stealth horror game about digging up your creepy neighbor's secrets. But there's a twist, the neighbor is controlled by an AI that learns from the players. As time passes, his behavior will change and surprise you. Can you outsmart the neighbor and find out what he's hiding? Need for Speed Unbound. Unbound is an upcoming racing video game to be released on December 2, developed by Criterion Games and published by Electronic Arts for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. It is the 25th installment in the Need for Speed series, the first for Criterion since 2013's Rivals with Ghost Games and the first as a main developer since 2012's Most Wanted. Need for Speed Unbound will be available on EA Play Pro. Need for Speed Unbound is a racing game set in a fictional city called Lakeshore City, which is based on Chicago. Like previous entries in the series, it will feature an open-world environment, and will feature gameplay similar to that of previous entries in the series, being mainly focused around street racing. The Heat system from Need for Speed Heat returns in Unbound, where the player attempts to gain notoriety among the police. Additionally, similar to previous entries, the game will feature various forms of customization such as installing various body kits, adding a splitter, or even completely removing the front or rear bumpers. Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol is an upcoming survival horror video game developed by Striking Distance Studios and published by Krafton. It is scheduled for release on December 2, 2022 and is directed by Glenn Schofield, who had previously co-created the Dead Space series. The game will be available for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. In the Callisto Protocol, players assume the role of Jacob Lee, an inmate of Black Iron Prison on the moon Callisto. Jacob is controlled from a third-person perspective, and most important gameplay information is displayed via a holographic HUD viewed from the same perspective. Jacob's health is indicated by an implant on the back of his neck called a core device, and his health can be replenished with injection-style pickups. In addition to gun-based combat, there is a melee combat system in which Jacob must dodge enemy attacks while looking for openings to strike and eventually kill the enemy with various implements. Enemies can lose their limbs during combat or be decapitated. If Jacob's health is reduced to 0, enemies will execute him in a graphically violent manner. In the course of the game, Jacob can also collect and review audio logs that provide deeper insights into the characters and setting.